is Objective 3, Day 2, and this video covers problems 3 through 5. And these are the problems that we're looking at. It's mostly graphs and then some slope concepts. Okay, and your answers that you should have gotten were A for number 3, B for number 4, and also number 5. Okay, so the first question says, if y is directly proportional to x and y equals 8 when x equals 10, what is the value of y when x equals 5? So there's actually two ways to solve these, or this problem, and one of them kind of is more in line with what we've been doing in class, but I'm going to show you both just so you have it. You should notice right away this keyword proportional. Anytime you have the word proportional or similar, anything like that, you need to consider setting up a proportion. So in this particular proportion, we would have 8 over 10. So I got y equals 8 and x equals 10. And so it's asking what the value of y is. That's my x. I'm putting it in the top because the y's need to go together. If y is 8 and we don't know what it is, then those two need to go together. And then the x's go together, and so the 10 and the 5 would both be on bottom. And I did write x here, even though we're searching for y, so that might be a little confusing. I don't mean this x, I just mean some unknown. We don't know what it is. So we can cross multiply. We have 8 times 5 is 40. Put your equal sign, we have 10 times x is 10x. And then you can divide both sides by 10, and you get 4 equals x, which is A. So that's one way of solving it. Here's the other way to solve it. Essentially, we have a linear equation. Proportional also refers to something linear. And so we have something like this. Okay. And since they're not telling us anything about a y-intercept or starting value, or there's not really any complexity to this we're just gonna not worry about it. And basically we have this. And this is something to keep in mind just for the future in college. Anytime they say directly proportional, it means y equals mx, and you're not thinking about this b here for the most part. So I'm going to plug the numbers in that they gave us. Y is 8. We don't know what m is, and then 10 is x. Okay, so we divide both sides by 10 to get m by itself. And so now we know that m, or the slope, is 8 over 10, which could be reduced to 4 over 5. So I divided the top by 2 and I got 4, and I divided the bottom by 2 and I got 5. Okay, so now we can actually go and figure out the last half of this problem. So we're looking for y. Our slope we just calculated, that's 4/5, and we're plugging in a 5 for x. These are going to cancel out, and you end up with y equals 4, which is the same answer. Personally, I think that this first method is significantly easier, but if you're trying to use equations of lines, then the second method would definitely be more in line with that. Okay, problem 4, we're just going to go through and find the points on here. So for example, if we look at choice A, -7 and then down to -5, and this is really hard to see on here for me. On the text, obviously, it would be a whole lot bigger and you could see it better. So that point checks out. Let's do the next one. -3, -1. And already we've run into a point that's not on this line, and so A is out. I'm going to go ahead and erase that. So if we try what I know is the right answer, which is B, we're going to go to -9 and down to -8, so that point works. -5 down to -2, that point works. -1 up 4, that point works. Over 1 up 7, that point works. And over 3 up 10, and that point works. If you were to try the other ones, you would eventually get to a point that doesn't work. You just want to be careful that you go through every single point all the way down to the bottom, because they could have the first few be there and then the last couple not. And then also make sure that on the real tax, you don't do like I did and skip the rest of them. You need to go through every single answer choice. Even if you think you have the right answer, you still go through the last two just to make sure you didn't make a mistake. Alright, and then problem number 5, there's kind of a tricky way that we can solve this. We see that our y-intercept is 5, so let's go through and find all the ones that have a y-intercept of 5. This one does, this one does, this one does, and this one does not. That has y-intercept way down there. So D is out. And then if you notice the slope is negative, this is the only line that has a negative slope. So we're not even going to worry about A and C, and we know that the answer is B. If you had another one that had a negative slope, you would actually need to count down and over and see what your slope would be to match it up with that one.